So is a 9 to 5 too much for the girl boss? The girl power, we've been told about this our whole lives. Feminism, girls are strong, brave, courageous, hashtag girl power, hashtag girl boss. But it looks like a lot of these so-called strong girl boss types are crumbling under the pressure of a basic 9 to 5. So let's listen to some cases. This is an absolute shocking turn of events, surprises absolutely no one. It appears that, they're struggling to work a job. What happened? Did they think life was a movie? Did they think that life was Legally Blonde? Is this what they thought the workplace environment would be like? Did they think it'd be like She-Hulk twerking in an office, working as a lawyer? Did they think it would be like Hidden Figures and this mythical story about strong, brave, courageous woman? Did they not understand that work involves work? And it's not something that men were doing for fun or that men were doing to oppress women, but men were doing to earn an income for their families and to live life free of this system. So who are they going to blame now? So we're going to listen to some girl power, girl boss types. Who are they going to blame now? Will they blame men? Will they blame patriarchy? Will they blame internalized misogyny? So let's listen to woman whinging and let's see if we've got any solutions or actual useful, productive solutions or insights.
Talk about how much I hate my frickin' job. It's 11:30 p.m. and I just got home from the gym. And not to mention, I still need to cook, eat, and shower after this, so I won't even be in bed until 1 a.m. I literally work from 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. 5 days a week, and sometimes on the weekends too. And not to mention, I'm barely getting paid anything for the hours that I'm putting in. It's crazy to think that if my parents weren't still helping me with my rent, I would literally be living a paycheck. And that's insane. And I literally still have 2 more months of this busy season. I've been working 60-hour weeks and I feel like I'm just going fucking insane because I have no time for anything else. My life lately is literally just wake up, work, eat at my desk, work again, and then gym, and then eat, and then sleep, and then repeat that over for like 5 days straight. And I'm going insane, bro. And I need a change in career so bad. So if any of you can help me out, I would be super grateful. I have a business degree and I graduated from UCI. I have president's lists on my transcript. Please just help me get out of this job. If you can suggest anything, or if you can get me a referral to one of the companies that you're working at, I would be extremely grateful because I have no time for anything else right now. And I just feel like I'm going crazy.
Hard to feel sorry for people who've put themselves in this position. So firstly, what's quite interesting is that she's working these work hours, 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., which is typically like a high paying corporate job, 150K and up, 200K type of jobs that you typically be working those long hours, or you're on the career path to earn that type of salary, right? Why do you hate your job? Did you not expect this coming in? Were you not willing to work hard? Were you, are you really that stressed? How much work are you actually doing? Are you doing an easy email job, laptop job? Are you actually doing a lot of work? And then also it's like, they're not working in the coal mines. They're not working in oil rigs. They're working in comfortable, air-conditioned offices. So I don't know to what extent they can complain about their job, and they're receiving all the benefits of DEI, feminism, and things like that, diversity, hiring and promotion benefits that specifically benefit women. And if she's a minority woman, as she looks like she's from an Asian background, that would mean she's a double quota, which means companies especially want to hire to meet the DEI, ESG, BlackRock requirements, because she's a woman, which is technically a minority group, even though it's 50% of the population. And then also she's from an Asian background, so she'll be an Asian woman, a minority woman, PLC woman, so she'd get extra benefits for hiring and promotions. And I would question to what extent she is working hard at a job, because typically when people are working super hard and they're stressed out, you can see it on their face, and it doesn't look like that. It looks like she's just she wants like a privileged life, a privileged, comfortable life. She doesn't look like someone who's worn out or tired from work. And then also, when it comes to a lot of these things, it's like, they want to focus on making a lot of money versus actually being productive and doing things. And of course, we all want to make a lot of money, but it's like, are you actually being productive with those work hours that you have? So it's an interesting dynamic. And one thing I wanted to add here is she mentioned her parents are paying her rent, right? Now, I've worked in the finance industry for over 10 years, as I've said in my videos, right? And there's many cases of women who are high power, strong career women. They're not actually paying for their living costs. I remember many women who would have their rent paid by their boyfriend or their husband, and their husband or boyfriend would pay for a lot of their living costs. These women were saving a lot of their money. investing their money, and their husbands would be, or their boyfriends would be paying all their living costs. And they might break up with their boyfriend or get divorced from their husband, and they've got all this money saved up because they didn't really have to pay for their living costs for over a decade because someone else was doing it, right? They have these super easy lives, but they still whinge about it. And when it comes to busy season, having a 60-hour work week, some of these busy seasons are just normal work weeks for men, because men, you can't, if a woman is in a workplace environment and she needs help, there's always a man, a work husband, I'm sure you've heard the term work husband, or a man in the friend zone who kind of picks up the slack for a lot of female co-workers and does their work. And you don't really have that as a man, right? You end up having to do a lot of work and pick up the slack for inefficiencies from these type of girl power types, girl boss types, right? And she mentions that life is waking up, working, eating at the desk, gym, eating, sleep, right? This is the life of most men. So when women whinge about it, it's like, what did you want? As a woman, you had an easy life as housewives, stay-at-home mothers, but now you wanted the career life, but you want an easy version of it, and you want a high-paying, easy version of it. But men have just been toiling away for generations, and even in current life, men have to work hard, and we don't get the social benefits that women get, right? Women always have a helping hand from society and from just these simp men that populate a lot of this society, that would just, these men who would just suck up to these women and do a lot of their work, right? As I say, most of men's lives are like this kind of routine of like wake up, work, eat, gym, sleep, things like that. And she should just get used to it. If you want to compete with men, you should get used to this type of lifestyle. And this whole thing about playing this damsel in distress, begging for help, asking for help, or thinking someone on her TikTok is going to give her a solution, find her a job opportunity. Now, unfortunately, with this simp culture we do have, there will maybe be some people who will do that, but it's like, you should find a solution for yourself rather than whinging on TikTok, which you see a lot of women do. They don't find solutions. They're subconsciously, indirectly, calling out for a man to save them in their poor life decisions. And the worst thing you could do as a man is basically extend yourself, like I say, as a boyfriend or a husband to a woman like this, and then you end up picking up all the debt, all of her student loan, all of her bad decisions. She'll be at work whinging, and other men will do her work. She'll be out of work whinging, and then you've got to deal with that in your free time. It's a complete waste of time. Don't dedicate your free time to people like this. And also, if we had clear gender roles and there was a complementary relationship between men and women rather than what women have created, which is a competitive relationship where they're competing for jobs and everything's got to be a competition between men and women, then you'd actually have a lot more free time. She wouldn't be whinging about free time because she'd have a husband who'd work the job, and during the work hours she'd be a housewife and do all the other chores. So then they have their evenings free, and then they could live their life on their own terms. But unfortunately, thank God to feminism, or we'll thank the devil for feminism, you actually have a dynamic where it just doesn't work, right? You have no free time. Everyone's like an individual single person, has to spend their time working their job, doing their chores. There's no task sharing, so you have this dysfunctional dynamic. So she only has herself to blame, and I think it's quite funny, to be honest.
Every day is just the same. Now, since graduating college, there's no more variation in my day. I wake up, go to work, come home, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, and I'm gonna do that for the next 50 plus years of my life. That's assuming they don't take Social Security away, because I'm not hopeful about that. So my question is, what the fuck is the point of this? Why did I just go to college and get a degree to live this life? Humans were not meant to sit in an office for 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, if you're lucky. I just don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel satisfied with my professional work nor my personal life. I just don't know what to do. I'm bored as fuck when I get home, but I have no money to go out and do things, and there's nothing free anymore. So I just don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing right now. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm not meant to be confined to four walls in a cubicle. I'm done with this. I can't fucking do this anymore. So yeah.
What's funny, firstly, is that woman, there's no responsibility, there's no accountability, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of her co-workers had found her TikTok and they could just easily report her to the manager and get her fired because she's talking about this, and I'm sure someone can link her face to a LinkedIn and things like that. So it's a bit of this reckless behavior that they get away with, right? Now, when she said every day is the same, this is the life of most men, but most men don't get away with whinging about it. And she's whinging about this online, like I say, venting without providing any solutions, begging others to help her. A man, a random stranger on the internet is going to find a solution and pay all her bills and look out for her, right? And as I say, the life of most men is just wake up, work, sleep, things like that. And but they wouldn't mind making that sacrifice because they would have a wife and kids, and they would live a good life and create a good life for the next generation, right? Now, what happens is, in the West, women have been given three options. They can be a housewife, they can be a career woman, or they can be a OF content creator, right? It's one variation of that, or on Tinder. So it's basically 3 options. 1 is be a housewife, 2 is be a career woman, or 3 is become a woman on OF or Tinder, basically a promiscuous woman, right? So those are the 3 options she has. Now, women don't want to be a housewife because apparently that's misogyny, patriarchy, oppression, whatever. So they're not going to do that. A handful of women are going to take option 3, where they're basically a promiscuous woman, however you want to define that. But most of them are going to take option 2. They're going to pick a career, and most women will be like this. They want to be a strong, independent woman, but they don't want all the challenges that come with that. They just think a man's going to pick up the slack for that, right? And then eventually what happens to a woman like this, they'll find a rich husband, and these women will be parading around in the office, pretending they're strong and independent, and playing this kind of LARPing as that character, cosplaying as that character. And so many cases, you'll find out that there's a man who's much richer than them, who's paying for their entire lifestyle. And then, like I say, there will be this kind of common pattern that you'll notice all the time, that they'll act like it isn't reality, but it is. And a lot of these people, they will get these degrees, these masters, these PhDs, and they'll be in incredible amounts of debt, taking all these loans out. And that's why you see a lot of women are more educated than men, than men with these high degrees that don't actually pay off. They don't actually result in like high paying jobs a lot of the case. You know, that's my suggestion to a lot of people out there. If you do a basic degree and get a job and try to climb the corporate ladder and make more money, you know. And what she's posing here is like a typical girl question, which is like, you know, she's asking for help. She's mentioning things like astrology. I don't know why women are more linked to astrology than just common sense or basic gender roles. She mentions being a Sagittarius, and that's a reason for her perspective. Using astrology over logic, astrology when it comes to dating, when it comes to careers. This is the ridiculousness. This is why typically, you know, you'd have men in positions of power and women be positioned as a helpmate or a helper, as described in, you know, religious texts. Women would follow the lead of men. Otherwise, you push them in leadership roles, and then they're in this type of position where they're like, don't know what they're doing, and they're using astrology to determine their career path and things like that, right? It's all emotion. It's no logic, no life plan here. And she's waiting for someone to tell her what to do. And typically, who would tell her what to do? Her husband, her boyfriend, her father, a man in her life. But when you remove that, you have this completely dysfunctional, psychotic type of behavior, poor life decision making. Now, for myself, I refuse to save women at work and do their work and pick up their slack. If they're making an error, there's a famous phrase, you know, never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. And I wouldn't say all co-workers are your enemy, but when you have co-workers who get special treatment and hiring and promotion benefits like most women do, when they make mistakes in the office, I'm not going to say anything or do anything. I'll just sit there quietly while they're making a fool of themselves in a meeting, while they're creating completely disorganized workflows. And then when something goes wrong, I'll just point it out when it's a bit too late, and in an indirect way, so the manager can see that, you know, something's not working out, something like that, and they'll take the hint, the management, that this woman is not good at her job. You just hired her as a DEI feminist hire, right? And also, what you have, unfortunately, in any workplace, any corporate environment now, is a lot of simps, a lot of soy boys, and they viciously, ruthlessly protect these type of women. They protect the girl power, girl boss. They pick up the slack for them. They help them become there's many women who I've worked with who don't know what they're doing, but they end up getting employed in high-paying jobs for many years, and the men around them will just pick up the slack. But behind one strong woman in the office are 5 men who are doing her job, who are slightly more junior than her. And you have these bloated teams because they all have to pick up the slack for her emotions. One guy is managing her emotions when she's stressed about work. One guy is doing the technical work. Another 2 guys are, you know, liaising with other people that she doesn't like because she has a passive-aggressive relationship with one co-worker in another department. These are the type of things. This is what the workplace has become. It's become a complete joke to prop up these women.
Video so much. I was so scared to leave my toxic job for fear of having that gap in my resume, for fear of having people ask why I was only there for 11 months, for fear of having people ask why would I leave a title and company that were successful. Why would I walk away from that? But the reality is, the title, the job, the status, all of it was not worth my mental health. I would cry almost daily having to walk into that office. And I blew up my life quitting that job, but I don't regret it at all.
So, see, here she mentioned she's working a toxic job, and it's always the traditional victim mentality, no personal responsibility, no personal accountability. It's always someone else's fault, it's the company's fault. She wants some special treatment because she's a woman. You're using mental health as a crutch. I think there are genuine mental health issues, but a lot of the times it's just used as a crutch for a lack of accountability, right? She wants the social status of being a victim because being a victim is kind of glorified in the system these days. And men of, she is like a lot of these women, they want the social status of those high paying jobs, but they're not willing to work. There's a common theme here. They don't want to deal with the pressure. They don't want to deal with the workload, but they want all the prestige that comes along with that corporate job, right? They want, as you can see in that image here, they think this is what they think the workplace environment is, this type of like legally blonde type of scenario. They're all focused on the image of being important rather than the actual work of doing it. That's a common theme. You'll see it throughout the corporate environment. It's all about the image that of these women being in high positions of power rather than them actually doing the work, right? And then you see this on the trading floor of major investment banks. I've worked at some places like this, not referencing those companies specifically because I know I can't say anything directly about them. But, in general, the finance industry, corporate jobs, corporate law, tech jobs, you see these same types of personalities, right? In terms of these girl power, girl boss types. And my career advice is a service that is available to anyone. I'll help you navigate this. If you're a woman and you're unhappy with your career, we can look at some career solutions, some alternatives, or an alternative like finding a man and having kids. That's another alternative to consider. But for all the men out there and other women out there, if you want genuine career advice from someone who's going to be open and honest with you, I will be able to provide that. There's a link in description. Reach out to me and we can chat and have an honest conversation. And if you're a man, I'll help you navigate through dealing with girl power, girl boss types. And if you're a woman, I'll help you navigate through your career path and having that freedom or flexibility you want in your life, right? So that's it. I'm done. I have 2 recommended videos on the screen right now, and I'll see you next time.